Star wide receivers Davante Adams and Amari Cooper have both been linked to the Washington Commanders in recent days here. Davante has straight up requested a trade from the Las Vegas Raiders, and Cooper is somebody that could be traded before the NFL trade deadline. So the big question on my mind today, guys, that we're going to answer together is, should the Washington Commanders trade for a big-name wide receiver like Davante Adams or Amari Cooper before the NFL trade deadline this year? Welcome into the Commanders Report. I am your host, Jack Sperry. Can't wait to get this in with you guys here. But before we get into the content, get us started down there in the comments section and answer this question for me. Should the Commanders trade for a wide receiver? Do you think this team needs to do that to really solidify themselves as one of the best offenses in the National Football League? Let me know what you guys think down there in the comments section. So first, let's talk about Davante Adams, because Davante is the talk of the NFL world here in Week 5, because he has officially requested a trade away from the Las Vegas Raiders here over the last several hours, I should say. Ian Rappaport was the one that dropped the news yesterday, saying Raiders star wide receiver Davante Adams informed the team that he prefers to be traded per me and Mike Garafolo. There's nothing imminent, but a situation to watch for sure. And then the way that he has been linked to the Washington Commanders is Dan Graziano from ESPN linked the Jets, Cowboys, Commanders, and Lions as teams that are potentially interested and have enough cap space to trade for Davante Adams. Now, Joey, just send that next social for me real quick so we can see that. Woodward Sports Network was the one with the tweet, and Dan Graziano was the one saying that on ESPN this morning. So I'm taking a look at this situation here, man, and look at this Commanders offense that has played pretty darn well, but Davante Adams is pretty darn special as a receiver in his own right. Now, the big question is, can the Commanders even afford to bring in Davante Adams? And the answer to that question is yes. And honestly, man, you look at Jaden Daniels in the background of that photo with Davante Adams wearing that number 17 in the burgundy and gold. It looks quite good if you ask me. And right now, his cap hit would only be $13.5 million if you end up trading for him here in 2024. Now, if you wait till next week and every week after that, you can take $900,000 off of that total because it is a prorated rate in terms of how much you're going to have to pay Davante Adams this year on his base salary, depending on when this trade would eventually go through. And the Commanders right now have plenty of cap space to use here in 2024. They've got over $25 million at their disposal. So if they want to make a big trade here for a big-name receiver, they absolutely have the funds to be able to do it. And a guy like Davante Adams is certainly one of the best receivers in the league still, and has been for a very, very long time. Here's what he has done the last 4 seasons before this year. Last year, his numbers dipped just a little bit, but I would probably chalk that up to some terrible quarterback play there in Las Vegas. But whenever he had Aaron Rodgers or Derek Carr, you look at the numbers and they speak for themselves, averaging over a first down per reception, easily into the double digits touchdowns when he doesn't have a terrible quarterback throwing him the football, easily over 100 receptions. This guy is still one of the best route runners. He's incredible down the field, making tough contested catches. He's got super reliable hands. In my opinion, even though he is into his 30s now, I still think that Davante is still a top 10 receiver in the National Football League today. And the 33rd team came out with a trade idea in terms of Davante heading to the Washington Commanders, and what their idea was that the Commanders would send a 3rd-round pick in next year's draft and then a 2nd-round pick 2 drafts from now in 2026 in exchange for the former All-Pro receiver. So let me know what you guys think down there in the comments section. Would you accept this trade for Davante Adams? Not giving up a 1st-round pick for what is currently, at least in my opinion, still a top 10 receiver in the game. Type A if you would accept it, or type D if you would decline it. This will be the pinned comment on today's show, so YouTube's going to throw you an ad break here in just a couple of seconds. When that happens, take advantage of that time by letting me know if you're accepting or declining this trade offer. For me personally, guys, I'm going to decline that trade offer of 2 day 2 picks in exchange for Davante Adams. And pretty much the reasoning is I don't think that the Commanders need to make a move like this. Now, you take a look at Davante here and why I'm declining here. Davante is 31. And he's getting up there, right? The Commanders are still a rebuilding franchise. Now, it seems like with Jaden Daniels and Dan Quinn really doing a great job moving things forward quickly here in Washington, it's not going to be a rebuild for much longer. But a guy like Adams is getting older. Plus, his contract is getting super expensive heading into next season. The cap hit gets over $35 million for the team that acquires him. Now, my guess is if you trade for Davante, you're going to be reworking his contract, so maybe the Commanders can come to some sort of agreement with Davante to keep him here in Washington. But personally, I just think Washington's offense is fine right now as is. This is already one of, if not the best offense in the National Football League, led by Jaden Daniels with Terry McLaurin as the number one receiver. Not sure if they need a number one guy like Davante right now. And then in the past, Davante has said that he hates the Washington Commanders franchise. He hates the stadium. He hates the city. This is what he had to say on a podcast there with Amon-Ra St. Brown. I believe it was this offseason, says the Washington Commanders, obviously just miserable because the stadium is horrible and the city is not great at all. So it definitely doesn't seem like Davante would be particularly interested in coming to the DMV. So personally, I would decline. But what about Amari Cooper? Bleacher Report came out with an article linking Cooper to the Commanders. Does this make more sense for the Burgundy and Gold? We'll break it down here in just a second right here on the Commanders Report. But before we get into that, let's have a word from our sponsor here at Game Time, which is the fastest and easiest way to buy tickets for the sports, music, comedy, and theater in your area. And guys, we know that experiencing a Commanders game in person is unlike anything you can get from watching the game on your couch. So if you want to go see more Commanders games this season, Game Time Picks is a brand new feature from Game Time which filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. All you have to do is select the Game Time Picks button on the app, and it automatically filters every single ticket in their database for that particular game. And they use their special algorithm to pretty much cut out the middleman, take out the hours of research that you usually do, going on a bunch of different ticketing sites and all these different things to find the best tickets at the best price. And it does the research for you, which is absolutely phenomenal. And another thing I love about using the Game Time app is that every single ticket on the Game Time app has the lowest price guarantee, so you don't have to worry about other tickets being lower priced on other ticketing apps or sites. Also, you get all-in pricing, so you don't get slapped with crazy fees at checkout. You also get flash deals, so you can get even cheaper tickets the closer you wait to the start of the event that you decide to go to. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time today. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS. It's one word, all caps, CHATSPORTS. It's right down there in the bottom right of your screen right now for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply, again, just for that first purchase. Create an account with Game Time today and redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off that first purchase. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game time. So now let's shift to Amari Cooper here because Bleacher Report listed Cooper as one of their top 10 trade candidates after or heading into week 5 here, and they listed the Washington Commanders as a potential landing spot for the Browns wide receiver. So this is what Kristopher Knox from Bleacher Report had to say about Cooper's situation. Cooper has been a productive and largely reliable receiver at every stop. He played for the Raiders and Cowboys before joining Cleveland, and he's coming off a 1,250-yard campaign. Things simply aren't clicking between Cooper and Deshaun Watson this season. The receiver has topped 40 receiving yards only once, and he's already been credited with 6 drops through 4 games. Yikes. He had another big one during Sunday's loss in Las Vegas that turned into a Raiders interception. Washington is building an exciting offense around rookie sensation Jaden Daniels. Part of the plan has involved surrounding the quarterback with seasoned veterans like Austin Eckler and Zach Ertz. Adding Cooper would follow that plan and give Daniels another top-tier target opposite Terry McLaurin. Now, my personal take on this, guys, is that I would prefer Cooper over Davante Adams just because I think he's going to be cheaper, all these different things. But honestly, I think that this isn't a priority for the Washington Commanders, okay? I think that right now you got Terry McLaurin, you got Noah Brown, who's had a really good start to this season, you got Luke McCaffrey, who's looking very promising as well. De'Ami Brown and Olamide Zaccheaus have had their moments as well. Zach Ertz has been a very good and reliable receiving tight end as well. So I'm looking at a guy like Jaden Daniels having the success that he's having with the guys currently in the building. I don't know if it really makes sense for the Washington Commanders to make a big splash at wide receiver at this point in time. Now, obviously, if you can add a top flight weapon like Amari or Davante, They could take this offense to an even higher level, and that's certainly intriguing. But right now, I think corner or edge rusher is the more pressing need for Washington. So if Adam Peters is going to make a move for a veteran in a trade before the deadline, I would prefer it to be on defense because that is the area that needs addressing. So pick one for me down there in the comments section. If you had these options here, which one are you picking? Are you trading for Davante Adams type DA? Are you trading for Amari Cooper? Give me an AC. Or do you just not want to trade for a wide receiver and you'd rather address something else? Type DT if you do not want to trade for a wide receiver. Thank you guys for sticking with me here to the end of today's show. Make sure you guys click that subscribe button right now if you haven't already, because we really do appreciate everybody that watches our videos to the end of this show. Also, we have more Commanders videos coming out later this week, getting you guys ready for this week 5 matchup against the Cleveland Browns. So if you want daily free Commanders coverage right here on YouTube, make sure you guys click that subscribe button right now.